My name... Sorry.
My name is Claire, and this is my testimony.
Help. My name is Claire.
I'm Molly.
And I'm Erin.
And this is Book Stupid.
I'm supposed to say that?
Well, welcome back. This is Erin Woods, our dear friend from college. We met Erin. She lived on the same floor with us in college. She was my next door neighbor. I met her for the first time because she had come home from the bars. This was like the first week of college, and she was standing...
Underage drinking.
I didn't say you wwere drinking at the bars. You were just kind of hanging out.
I thought you were doing drugs.
I wasn't.
And she, was in the courtyard outside of our building, and she was standing on a bench going like, woo! And like putting on a show for our whole res hall. And I was like, who is that diva? I need to be her friend. And we were all just kind of like mesmerized by her.
Yeah.
And we
became... Most people are.
Yeah.
Totally.
And we all became friends.
Yep.
Yeah.
I can see her standing on surfaces in my mind's eye.
Yeah, I stand on a lot of surfaces.
Yeah.
Like in the lounge of our dorm.
Yeah, I stood on those
extended
desks a lot.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just,
Just because.
amp up the crowd. It's finals. People are stressed. Let's get on a desk.
Let's loosen up, everyone.
This is a bad reveal. I hate to have to say it, but I was president of the dorm freshman year.
She ran on a platform that was like, what was it? What did your poster say? It was something
about
she's
Molly?
just being Molly.
Yeah,
I
it was
can't
like a lot
seem
of
to
Miley
find
Cyrus
Molly.
references. I think it was after that song, Dancing
Yeah.
with Molly.
Yeah, yeah.
But there was also that other song that was like, and I can't seem to find Molly. Molly. I feel like Lil Wayne was also, like, there was a photoshopped image of you with, like, Lil Wayne, and it was, like, maybe, like, Young Money situation.
Maybe. Yeah, I think I did some of that.
And I was like, this girl from Wisconsin.
Okay.
Yeah.
They really fed into the rumors we were spreading about you to each other.
Right. He used to talk shit about me for a long time before I finally convinced him to be my friend.
I do remember seeing your posters and being like, ugh,
This girl.
fucking Luann. I'm kidding.
We will
But then-
never
You were a
be
great
friends.
president.
Wait, but then also towards the end of freshman year, do you guys remember there was like a res hall, like there was a coordinated program by the school to try to reduce drug use, and so like
They heard about Erin's for night at the bar.
Yeah. So there were posters like from the school that were like meant to be a screenshot of text, but the texts were like with Molly.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
wait,
The
yes.
texts were like still think it's cool to like do Molly.
Yeah.
Like, the concept was very convoluted because we were both texting Molly and talking. It was very weird.
Yeah.
People thought because my bad posters when I was running for president that I had put those up too.
Yes, this is ringing a bell.
Really?
They thought you were a narc.
A real hit to my.
And meanwhile, you're
A real
protecting
straight edge.
your residents by like. I think you did the right thing by not
to
telling.
get clean.
Didn't
You were trying to clean up the street.
Didn't work.
Yeah, I ran on the tough on crime platform.
Can I say one thing about your drug use really quickly?
Okay, this is insane. I am not a drug addict.
No, I know, of course not. But you were
I
like,
just did some drugs.
You
occasionally, recreationally.
you knew Molly. You knew Molly.
I had hung out with Molly a few times.
Yeah, you
before.
were
hanging out with this one.
Yes, yeah.
You were like one of the first people I met. Where you were like, yeah, I smoked weed when I was 11, and I was
11?
or whatever it was, 13.
13.
And I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
But I thought it was very cool.
Oh,
at the
yeah.
time.
I thought you were gonna bring up the time that I did
did
in fact
Molly, yeah.
do Molly,
Yeah.
and I came back and like
Yeah.
it was still fresh in our like it was like
We were not
it was
that
still
tight
first
yet,
semester,
yeah.
and I was like, hi, I'm rolling off my ass.
Yeah.
Because like 2 of my friends had come up and we decided to do Molly.
Yeah.
And walk around Times Square.
And I was like, God, she's cool.
You are.
And I said, who wants to go out and party? And nobody did. So I said,
You were on the table.
all right.
Who wants to go out and party?
I'll be in the second lounge. Find me in the second floor lounge. That's
Yeah,
where
you're all
I'll be.
sitting Molly in the
There-
second
and
floor
honestly,
lounge.
there's definitely a picture of me on a desk in the lounge
yes.
with my long, luscious hair.
Okay, now that, you had the hair down to your ass. I
Yeah.
feel like my hair was so long freshman year of college,
Yeah.
too. So this is Erin. She came into town for our 30th birthday party, which was last night. Does anyone want to speak on the theme?
I can speak on it, though. It's your brainchild.
Oh, true. That's true.
I think you should.
So Molly and I went to see Conclave 2024. Is that the year it was released?
Yes.
And we were both, like, sitting in the theater, like, oh my god, this is the best movie we've ever seen in our entire lives.
Gagged.
And we always do a 30th, or we always do 30th birthday parties. We have a business. We plan 30th
It's our
birthday
new,
parties.
it's a sad birthday, so it's a great market to capitalize
Yeah,
on.
people really need this. And we always do like a funky theme. And I was like, oh my god. And we were searching. We were like waiting for the idea to come to us. And
I think the expectation is now quite high.
Yeah.
Like last year was From Day to Night, and that was a big hit.
yeah,
Um,
where everyone wore their like office clothes. And then
at like midnight, we just turned off all the lights and screamed at them, "It is now night!" And we gave
that made me
people
laugh so hard.
10 minutes to transition their look. We had a smoky eye bar.
I wasn't there for
people
that
used
one.
it.
Oh my god, the bathroom was jammed with people just trying to get an edge of mirror while they applied their smoky eye.
Which was good, really, because like
That is on theme.
Yeah.
Like you're in the work bathroom.
Yeah.
Right.
Your
We had-
coworkers.
Molly has a Peloton. There were like 5 Longchamp bags hung from it at one point.
So that was our most recent. So
Yes.
the expectations were pretty high.
Yeah, meanwhile,
Tough act
people are
to
like,
follow.
please, I can't spend any more money on costumes in March. Please. But we're like, well, what do they want us to do? We were like, what if we throw a conclave?
Yeah.
Pick a new pope.
We don't leave until there's a new pope.
Nobody leaves until there's a new pope. So yeah, we got a smoke machine.
You got a smoke
Black
machine in
smoke,
and didn't
no
open it
smoke.
until you were 30 minutes before the party and said, "Do we have
Does anyone
liquid
have-
fog? What was it that you needed?"
fog fluid.
Yeah,
I think
fog
it is.
fluid.
We just both assumed you'd pour water in.
Yeah. Sue me. I thought it was steam.
And then Claire was like, "Is there a cord somewhere around here?" Like the cord got left behind.
Yep.
Yeah. The thing is, we're big idea people, but execution is tough. But we do always pull it off.
We
It's
do.
just like, it stresses
Chaos.
everybody else
It is
or
chaos.
out.
It's hectic and it's
Nobody
chaos.
even had I didn't crack open the wafers. Now that I'm
Oh
thinking
my
about
god.
it.
Yeah.
Molly bought... And if you're in my family, you should probably skip over this part because it's so sacrilegious. But Molly...
They're not.
It's not consecrated.
Consecrated.
Yeah. Molly bought a bunch of unconsecrated toast.
Yeah,
So that's why I kind of look red.
kinda.
It's because she's so angry.
Ooh.
Mad.
I'm so mad. We keep saying that because I have faint red all over me. I look like the anger from inside out. Just like, oh no.
I'm really boiling over now.
I'm steaming. So everyone dressed in like what we were calling Catholic camp. Kind
I
of
like
like,
the other phrase you used too, religious opulence.
yes, because then it got to be like, oh, I'm not trying to exclude people with Catholicism here.
Right.
So then it transitioned to religious opulence. But I ended up dressing like Jesus, kind of. I did, for the real Catholic heads, I did stigmata, which is when you are so like saintly that you develop the wounds of the crucifixion. So I put like a lot of blood on my hands, and then I got a crown of thorns and I put blood dripping down my head. I must have gotten some really like intense stage blood because I can't get this stuff off.
The paws are really
The
crazy.
paws, it's like under my nails. It's like, how did it get like this? I don't know.
Things got out of hand.
It's really scaring me.
You looked great though.
Thank you. Everyone looked really great. Erin looked so hot. She was
Erin
dressed
looked
like
so hot.
a Roman Catholic. Like she
Yeah.
really like leaned in on the Italian aspect. She kind of looked like a, I don't know what's
You
the
look
right
like
word.
you should be in like The Godfather.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. There was one movie I was like, going for, but I don't think it has anything to do with like the church or anything. It's like an Italian movie, and it's like Monica Bellucci or whatever her name is in it.
Italian
And she's
movie.
wearing like a tight. No, I think it's pretty famous.
Erin learned a whole like Italian song. She doesn't speak Italian, but
This is such
But
good
I
Erin lore.
do speak Italian in this song. I know the words in the song,
it's like
so
an 8-minute song.
I love it. It's so good. If anyone watches My Brilliant Friend,
Yes.
I love that. I love that show, and it was in that, and I became obsessed. And also, there's another song from that artist that I really do like too that I've been trying
She
to
knows
learn
2
as
Italian
well
songs.
because I just want to belt it out. I want to belt it out. I didn't want to just listen. I want to belt it out.
Yeah.
So I needed to learn what he was
You
saying.
need to learn a little Italian.
I didn't want to look like a fool when I'm in the car and I pull up to an authentic Italian man and he said, she's not speaking real Italian.
She's just humming.
Erin and I lived together too. That's also part of the lore, like post college. And she, when she was learning the song, would just like make me sit and watch her sing a song for like 8 minutes.
She would stand on her desk and sing in
I
Italian.
really want to sing it. I would sing it while I cook. I would sing it while I folded my laundry, in the shower.
Yeah.
And it's ingrained in my brain.
Yeah. So that was also kind of a reference for your outfit.
Yes.
Duh.
I'm surprised I didn't pull that out, you know?
You should have sang that.
Should have pulled that out.
Yeah.
And what I like too is you were giving, I had said I really wanted like big cross jewelry hanging between
Yeah, I was going
She felt
camp, and
yeah.
you
you
know,
were wearing a true heirloom too,
Yes.
the cross
Yeah.
necklace.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
You really
not
brought it.
costume jewelry,
Not costume.
Mine was from Bezos.
and
Comma Jeff.
Yeah.
and I was worried that it wasn't enough, and you know what, it was enough.
It was Erin literally also in the middle of the day yesterday. She was like, "I'm just like worried that someone's gonna show me up at the party. Like someone is gonna have a better outfit than I am."
Literally our 30th birthday. She's like spinning out to you.
She's like, I just feel like I'm usually like really prepared, and I'm not that prepared.
I didn't have
She
that
has a
much
black
time.
lace, like an heirloom.
All things I
family
already
jewel.
owned. I only had to buy the veil, and I really didn't have to buy the veil because I already have a black veil, but it wasn't the right lace.
I know
for
the black
me.
veil you're talking
Yes.
about.
She also
So-
did bring 2 pairs of black gloves.
Yes, I have 2 pairs of black gloves. I take my costume. I take
know.
my themes very
You do.
seriously, and show up or go home.
Yeah.
Go home. She did land on one pair of black lace gloves, and then at some point late in the night, she was like, "Yeah, a girl in the bathroom complimented my gloves." I was like, "Well, they're single stall bathrooms. How are you meeting a girl in there?"
It was her. It was her in the mirror.
Wow.
Oh my god, I love your gloves.
Those gloves are amazing. No, I just happened to walk in on her. She didn't lock the door. She was just washing her hands.
Yeah,
though. It
it's
was
me with the
fine.
blood.
But I was so like, oh, I'm so sorry. And she's like, no, it's fine.
You walked in on a girl in the bathroom, and your takeaway was, "Girl in the bathroom said she liked my gloves."
She said my gloves are pretty.
They were really pretty.
Yeah.
We did elect a new pope.
Yeah.
And also in the middle of the conclave, we had the TV on for March Madness, and all of a sudden there's a news screen like, Pope Francis released from the hospital. We were like, this is awkward.
The whole party was like, "Oh."
Yeah.
Oh, I feel like it was right after we elected the Pope that it actually came
yeah.
on, and we were all like, what's going on? I
Okay.
kept coming up to you and I said, it was rigged, you guys, you need to recall this. And then I
You
said,
need to
I said
recall
to Claire,
this.
I said to Claire, how many votes did you count? And you were like, I think like 30. I said, there's 22 people here.
Oh no, there were votes where we had like 40.
And then she was like,
people were cheating wildly.
yeah.
I needed that win. And then
Yeah.
I didn't even run my campaign.
No, you
Mary and
didn't.
Ashley ran my campaign. They were
Yeah.
my little
Which was really
minions.
successful. Yeah.
And I said, because I said, they said, you got to talk to people. I said, if I talk to people, they're not going to vote for me. If you convince
That
them,
was good.
they're going to
The
vote for
Pope
me.
can't want it.
Yeah.
It has to be like
You
an
have to be
unwilling
whispering
recipient
in
or
other
it's thrust
people's
upon them.
ears.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Erin was the runner-up to vote.
Yeah. We had like 7 votes.
Which is how conclave
Which
goes.
is, yeah. Which
Takes
is.
a long time to build coalition.
I think I did a good job of that.
Oh,
did.
you did.
You really
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I found my people.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm taking you with me to the end. So yeah, I just like, I had a good base of loyalists.
You did, yeah. And then like at first she was popping off, and then it fell off somewhere in the middle, and then she grew her coalition back at the end.
Yeah. And in between every vote, Siege and I would like spin out for a little bit, being like, do people just want to leave? Should we just...
and then people would come and be like, when is the next vote? And I'd be like, oh shit, okay.
But we had an absolute crisis of faith every vote. Like,
Here, everyone hates this.
I think people
No,
liked
people
it.
Yeah.
were really into it.
No, yeah.
It took until like vote 5 for my name to show up once. I
think someone gave you a pity vote too.
I
But you
think-
got a couple that round.
I forget who did it, but
I think it
someone
was
like.
the cheating.
And I think
coalition.
Ashley might have done it,
So
and
didn't
she was
even
like, "I
count.
want to try and get them to like pit it against each other, so that we can get
Oh.
some drama."
I think the first time my name showed up, it was on a cheater's like 4th vote. Like they were like, it was the 4th.
They're like,
submitted.
now I'm just cooking. Now I'm just causing chaos.
Anything else from the morning?
I would just also like to say I really wanted to redeem myself because at your previous party,
Oh, yeah.
it was a murder mystery theme. I got all dolled up, ready to go. I
Yeah.
got my character assignment. I was the whore. I was the one sleeping around with everybody, including people who were married, all to get my Oscar, which I did get my Oscar, but I quickly found out.
You'd like.
Yeah.
Yes, I was happy with that. I was happy about being the whore. It was great. Although people were like yelling at me a lot and like had beef with me. It
Yeah.
seemed like I was everyone was attacking
Well, yeah,
me.
not to be, you haven't yet mentioned that you were
But
also.
the second I got the
Yeah.
second pamphlet and it said, "Well, you are actually the one who's going to be killed. You are dead." And I said, "What? I haven't even really gotten into character
I
yet.
haven't even whored around yet.
I'm trying so hard." Like I was like, "Okay,
Nobody's even met me in the
so
bathroom yet.
they said you got to go outside now."
No one's even complimented my gloves.
No one's complimented my gloves. They've all said I'm a home wrecking whore who slept my way to the top, and then I die. And in the end, the killer wasn't even caught. And it was the man
Yeah.
that was sleeping with me who was married
Duh.
that killed me.
How did no one solve that
Because
murder?
Will
It's so
was
funny.
really good at charming people.
was a
So I just like
well-cast.
wanted some redemption
Yeah.
from that because I feel like my game got canceled too quickly.
Yeah.
And
You
like
saying that like truncated your game. You got like a 15-minute performance piece for your death.
Yeah.
She was outside the bar at the window doing like hands against glass slowly, drawing down as the life drained out of her.
Yeah.
You got a
that was
full-
it. And that was it then. And then they said you could be the detective and I said I'm not dressed to be the detective.
Does this look like something a detective would wear?
I would have worn a trench coat and a hat and I had a little cigarette. Like I would have had a second costume prepared had I known.
And I know you would have brought another costume
Yes.
if I had told you that you were
I
going
would
to be
have
the
gotten
detective.
full into like I don't know if he was a detective in Casablanca, but I'm thinking of Humphrey
Oh, yeah.
Bogart,
Yeah.
with a fedora, a cigarette, and we gotta figure out this crime.
Oh, you would have looked
somehow.
so odd.
We gotta figure out how to solve this crime. Who
Especially
murdered
because you
her?
would have like lost the movie star attire, so I bet
Yeah.
under that trench coat, not a lot.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not
whoa,
a lot.
Or I'm sorry, I gotta stop saying that.
This was something we texted about recently. I can't. It's bothering me so much that we can't come up with what you guys call it.
Oh.
Erin and Siege specifically
Wait,
would
what?
end drunk nights out by riding the elevator of our dorm building.
That was
up
her.
and down.
That
It was
was
a me
really
thing.
her mainly.
Yeah.
I wasn't
But
really
you would-
involved
you would
with that.
sometimes do it with me.
The one time, not one time, but like the couple times that I did join, and then the one time
It was
we got
bad.
in trouble
Yeah.
for it.
Yeah.
Because they would just stand in the elevator.
Yeah.
Riding up and down as, like...
People would come in.
Yeah, and be like,
Like a
oh, how
social
was your
worker.
night? You know? What'd you get up to? What drugs did you do?
What floor are you going
You headed to the
to?
lounge? Yeah, it was just like a social thing. But yeah, I used to call it something. And then we were also really into Franzia back in that time.
Yeah. Because it was cheap and, like, easy
Yeah,
to
easy to
carry.
acquire. And yeah.
I was also the person who was up buying all this alcohol, too, as well.
Because you
She
had a fake?
Because I had... Not a fake. I had my sister's ID.
Oh.
Can I go to jail for saying that?
I don't think so. I hope not.
You have the right to remain silent.
The cops burst in right now. Shit.
Siege does jury duty for you.
God, not again.
This is all a whole ploy to, like, get me to confess to all of my crimes so that you guys can send me to jail.
Can you just list which drugs you've done? And at what age?
I'm not talking about that.
I'm not talking about that.
Oh, sorry.
Wait, sorry. I just want to tell
Friends,
quickly the
yeah.
story about the time that Erin and I got in trouble riding the rails because
It was a lot of us, too.
The four of us were in the elevator, and we had brought a bag of Franzia into the elevator with us. We were slapping the bag in the elevator, and the doors open, and one of the RAs was there, and we were like, "Hey," and then it closed. For some reason, it closed before she could like get us.
Yeah.
And so before we got to the next floor, someone put it like in
You
their
put
pants.
it in. I thought it was you.
I put it in my pants.
Yes, the bag, but not the box.
Not the box, which I don't know.
Was what really got us in trouble because they were like, "Who's?" And we were like, "That was in here.
You're like, that's just a box.
That was in here. We don't know what that was
is just
doing
a
in
box.
there."
They didn't buy that?
Like
They
they did.
'cause
They
couldn't,
did.
like,
They couldn't really get us
strip
in trouble,
search
but like
me.
then they kind of got in trouble. We got in trouble because it was like a fire hazard.
Yeah.
For
We got
riding in the
docked.
rails. So we had to like go
Yeah.
talk to.
I was
Muhammad.
asked about this as the president, too.
Yeah,
Not even
we had
kidding.
to like have a sit down with Muhammad like
Yeah.
individually and like have our stories, and we were like, the box was in there when we got in the
Yeah.
elevator.
We got out of it because we had an airtight
Yeah.
story
Yeah. Oh,
among
yeah,
the four of
guys.
us.
Yeah.
We were like, literally, I don't, what?
Yeah, I don't know. We were just having fun in the rails. I'm sorry about that.
Yeah.
I want to say something about your fake ID. We went to Vegas
Oh yeah.
on my 21st birthday, and you were...
I was pregnant, which is what we say when we
There's
talk
a
about.
season that you were gone for.
Yeah, there was a season of college I was not on the show. I was abroad, so
We were in Vegas, and because I was turning 21 that weekend, I was the last of us to turn 21. We were all 21 except for Erin. She's younger than us by a month, 2 months,
baby.
3 months. How did months work?
Gemini.
3.5,
April,
right?
May, June.
Yeah,
Three.
3.
But she was using her sister's ID, and you never had any issues. You really do look a lot
No,
alike.
yeah.
But so every time we were at a door where we had to show ID, we were kind of like, is it going to be fine? Always was. Except one time when we went to a day party at a club.
No,
a club.
that had nothing to do with the ID.
Obviously, but we're all kind of like, oh yeah, everyone's hoping you get through every door, whatever. We get through no problem, but the guy at the door is like, yeah, sorry, drop your pants. We all walked
funny.
through.
He didn't say that like that. He was like, you can't wear those.
They were jean
shorts.
shorts. And we were all wearing some variation of exactly that.
What?
Yeah.
It was like a pool party,
I
but-
was wearing jean shorts and my bikini top, and he was like, you can't wear that.
He
You
was like,
have to
drop
get
them.
rid
He's
of
like,
that.
I want to see your undies.
I want to see your Gucci.
Yeah, I wanna
and
see
so
your
then I was
Gucci.
like, okay. So then I'm just like in my bathing suit.
Aaron immediately like, sure.
That's a
But
younger
then, like, as
child.
soon as I got in there, I put them back on. I was like, why am I not? I'm walking around in my,
Skivvies.
yeah.
I think he just wanted to see you.
Probably.
But you mean your body.
I don't like that. But also that was the pool party that we just like spontaneously went to, and then found out that DJ James Kennedy was
yeah.
DJing at, and Lala was there, and Raquel was there.
Oh,
Yeah.
before the
Before
drama?
she was even like on the show, like we no one knew that James Kennedy had a girlfriend, and we were
Yes.
like, who is this
This girl-
this
yeah.
tall skinny woman in her wide white brim hat? And then like next season it was like, oh, I have a new girlfriend tonight. That was such a bad British accent. It was like, Raquel, I love Raquel, and we're like, that was the girl that was at the party.
Damn.
And yeah,
And then look at her now.
Like
we
that.
also like crafted a story for why I had the ID that I had, because obviously my ID was like 5 years older than I actually was, and I'm like, someone's gonna be so curious why a 26-year-old is with a bunch of 21-year-olds.
Meanwhile, it's Vegas, and they probably see so much worse.
So like I was
just
like
like
we
a girl,
have to
thank
craft
God.
a story. So I was like, I'm Ashley's half sister. We've just like we have different dads, and like we've just reconnected, and I decided to join this trip to like reconnect. Like I had to be a whole thing.
Erin's like, oh no, I have to write a
Clearly.
character.
Yeah, I
and
was
commit
like, I have
to it.
to make a
Fuck.
story up. Oh no!
My
But I
nightmare.
never had to use it because no one batted an eyelash.
Did
Batted
you feel
an
like
eye.
in character, like your character would have dropped their pants that quickly? Did that feel true to
No,
your
I feel like she would have
character?
fought a
daddy
little
issues.
more.
Daddy issues.
And
of
then,
course.
yeah, I guess, but I feel like she would have been a little bit more feisty.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm wearing my jean shorts.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's going on in culture? What are you listening to, watching, reading?
I'm consuming Paradise on Hulu. And I've started watching The Righteous Gemstones, which I, for some reason, keep calling it Inglourious Bastards. Like, I'm getting those confused. It's, like, the same cadence, but it's The Righteous Gemstones. I've been watching that. I think I'm in season 2, maybe. Yeah, and I think a new season of that is coming out. Or maybe I'm finished with season 2, starting season 3 and season 4. I don't know. But I'm watching that.
Yeah.
As like a light. It was like a buffer.
Okay.
You know? It's also funny because in Righteous Gemstones, the like wife of Danny McBride is also in the show Paradise. So like I was watching it, like we were watching Righteous Gemstones, and then we decided to go to Paradise, me and my boyfriend, by the way. So we were watching
Boyfriend drop.
we were watching Paradise, and then
I can't believe
she
it took her
shows
30
up.
minutes to
She shows up. And we're like, oh, whoa, crazy crossover, because it's like she's so comedic in that one show, and then she's like very serious in this one.
Wait, can you say more on your boyfriend?
I'm not going to talk about that.
I'm not going to talk about
I'm not going to talk about that.
You do have a hot boyfriend?
Yeah, he's hot.
Folds immediately.
Yeah, I have a boyfriend.
Yeah,
He's
no,
hot.
it's really
That's
hot.
all I'm going to say about it. That's
He's
all
hot.
I'm
He's
going
really
to
hot.
say about it.
Yeah. Oh, wait, what's Paradise about?
Yeah.
It is like a big event happens, like what would you call it? A natural disaster happens.
Ooh.
So these billionaires kind of knew that this was going to happen, and they started to prepare for it by building like a little town in a cave under a mountain that like fits only like 20,000 people. And then this natural disaster happens, and like some people, like they kind of like interviewed like specific people to find out who's like capable enough to go into this town, like the best of the best and stuff like that. And it's based around the president, who's now the president of this little town, and his number one head of security, Secret Service guy, who's Sterling K. Brown, and James Marsden is the president, which I think is like so good.
That's a good.
Anyways, yeah, so there's like a mystery around it of like, because then, spoiler, it happens in the first like couple minutes of the show, but the president dies.
Okay.
And he's murdered in this town, and people are like, what?
Ooh,
Because,
wait, this sounds
there's-
really good, actually.
There's supposed to be no
I wanna
guns
watch
or
it.
anything. Like, it's like there's never been a murder.
You can
Must be
murder
like
with no
Pleasantville.
guns.
Yeah.
Okay.
They also don't tell you what the natural disaster is
Yeah.
and how it happened.
Oh.
Yeah.
Almost the last episode.
Right. This is all being pieced together by flash forward flashbacks and
Okay.
stuff. Like, they'll go like 10 years in the past. So it's like all unfolding. But like, that's not really that big of a spoiler.
Yeah.
'Cause
It's okay.
you know, there's
I'll live.
other
Yeah.
things that are more like, whoa, what?
Okay.
But like almost every episode is a cliffhanger
That sounds good.
Ooh.
where you're like, I need to watch it. And it's only 8 episodes, so you really
So have
can
you watched
just-
the whole thing already?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, I'm in.
I'm gonna
I'm
sink
hooked.
my claws into that.
Yeah.
Is this Hulu?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
And great music too. Talk about music. It has really good
Ooh.
music in it.
The only thing I want to add is The Residents on Netflix. I think it's from the Shonda Rhimes universe. I was saying this to Erin earlier. I was like, I think it's like a Shonda production. I go, oh, Shonda Rhimes. She was like, yeah, no, I know.
You do
You didn't
not
have to
ever have
clarify.
to.
Did not.
She's like, have you been to Shondaland?
Grey's Anatomy. Have you heard of that?
Right.
It's with Logan Huntsberger, right?
Yes,
Oh,
it
yeah,
is.
I know.
It's the guy who plays The Resident, I believe, if I had to
The
guess.
blonde one. Blonde guy.
There's no,
Yes.
like, the resident.
No, there is a show. There is a show, The Resident. I'm pretty sure, and
Yeah.
he's like
guys,
a.
I'm saying the word the residence.
Yeah, I know,
Oh.
but he. That's why I got confused because he is in a show called
The
The Resident,
Resident.
where he's a doctor.
Hey, so you already had this conversation with her about Logan Huntsman?
No, not about Logan, but that's what I was thinking of.
Can you imagine if I were that dumb?
Like the resident. Oh, the residency. Yeah, like in the hospital.
Got it.
We
okay.
did not get this in depth.
And that's why I was like, oh, it takes place in a hospital? And she was like, no, it's not. It's kind of
Okay,
like
so
a
she thinks
whodunit.
we're dumb.
I do.
I do.
Who the resident is.
There's a show called The Resident.
Yes.
And the residence is a whodunit set in the White House, and the residence is in reference to the East Wing. Like they do business in the West Wing, but the East Wing is the residence. That's where the president and his family live. But it's like a whodunit that really smacks of like Knives Out.
Oh, I saw someone say yes. Okay.
And that I love a story like that.
Yeah.
I love that it remains like I like it. We talked previously about it, how did you watch The Recruit with Millicent?
No. No.
That's so weird. It was a huge hit.
No.
Just got canceled.
No, The Recruit. You never watched it?
No, I don't think that. I saw maybe the trailer and said,
No, not for you. Chip said you can take it in your lap. Just note that as soon as he wakes, he will.
Piss on the floor.
His tongue.
I guess I'll just piss on the floor. Do you get that?
Is that a reference to something you used to say?
No, it's like a meme, I think.
Okay.
Then I guess I'll just piss on the floor.
That's another thing, Erin. Like, you never know if Erin is quoting something or spouting off an entirely original string of words.
Yeah.
Hey, that's a credit to your writing. Yeah.
I can't believe you did not, when you introduced me, mention my #1 hit-selling Grammy song, Hot Hot Summer.
Hot summer.
Which was
hot weather.
Oh, Hot Hot Weather.
You want to do a couple bars?
Hot, hot weather on a Saturday night. Looking for somebody who'll treat me right. Yeah,
It's so good.
that was right off the cuff. And I will say, you can change it according to what night it is. It works.
Like what?
Monday, Tuesday,
Oh,
Wednesday,
got it,
Thursday,
got it.
Friday, Saturday, Sunday, whatever day it is.
syllables are off.
But if it is
I don't get how that works.
hot, hot weather on a Monday night,
Oh, so you have to change the tune just a little bit.
on a Wednesday night.
Can you sing your other one? Oh, wait, no, this isn't a song. This is just something you like to say about those sexy shows.
Oh, you're
rotting your brain.
rotting your brain with your sexy shows,
Frying,
which was
actually, you're frying your brain.
which was about rain.
Clarissa.
Don't
It
talk
was about
right now.
rain, and I will say that I rotted my brain with sexy
Yeah.
shows like Rain.
Oh, Rain. I remember Rain, your Rain phase now. I was hearing Rain, R-A-I-N.
Oh no, R-E-I-G.
This is like the
And-
Amelia Bedelia episode.
No, it's about Mary, Queen of Scots, and it's not historically accurate
Who's the resident?
whatsoever.
Where does she live? Where's her residence?
I don't even know what the residence is about.
Yeah, wait, yeah, can you finish
I can't wait
the...
to tell you.
The Residence.
Or did we move on to the recruit?
Not Resident.
Oh no, I just need to talk about that. It's all connected.
Okay.
Wait, but one more thing on Erin. Some of your other classics include me sitting down next to her one time and her going, "First you stole my chair, then you stole my boyfriend."
Yes, and that was the Las Vegas trip. That was the LA trip.
There was no
Spouts
boyfriend.
Oh, first you
way.
steal my chair? No, wasn't it? Oh, first you steal my boyfriend and then you steal my chair?
That seems
It
more
was
right.
The other, which makes it funnier.
Oh, first you steal my chair, then you steal my boyfriend?
like you
Okay.
somehow stole her boyfriend right after you stole her.
Oh, yeah.
It was the chair that gave me proximity to the boyfriend.
There was not a boy on this trip.
No, and there was never a boyfriend at that time.
But
Now
now,
there's a hot one.
yeah.
So don't steal him,
Never.
because you're looking at my chair a little too much.
Okay, so the recruit.
The recruit,
We. Go
god.
We had previously on the pod talked about the recruit being like schmaltzy in its mystery.
Yeah.
Like it's like stakes and like cliffhanger, like all of the different like spy shit that create the stakes. I was like, it's too first. I got it. Like I would like anticipate it, which you're not supposed to. You're supposed to be like,
Yeah.
what?
Yeah.
Um.
Which I will say, the Paradise, it's not like that.
Okay.
I
Yeah.
love
that.
So like same The Residence, and I'm only an episode in, but an episode or and a half, but I like Knives Out. It's not necessarily that it's like a super complex mystery, though it is. Like it's stuff like you're interested in how it's unfolding, but I like that they kind of build stakes. It's camp. It's camp.
Yeah.
So like you can, no matter what, a mystery has to be a little bit like, trust me.
Yeah.
And, like it might be a little too neat at times, or I might have to introduce some like pretty implausible information. And I think you walk a very fine line where it can go like schmaltzy like The Recruit, or it can go camp and like excellent like Knives Out. And I'm thinking The Residence, though I'm only a little bit into it. But I like it.
Okay, so The Residence is kind of the antithesis of The Recruit.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of like Ryan Murphy's type stuff.
Ooh,
where,
totally.
like, I would have thought that it was his show.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
it seems a little bit out of Shonda's box, but I'm into it.
It's good. And Ryan Murphy, I'm glad you brought him up, because he's really good at it when he's good at it. But sometimes he indulges himself a little bit too much. Like, I think of the show, did you ever watch The Politician all the way through?
No, you really tried to get me to watch it, and I didn't
And
watch
here
it.
I am, still camping.
But I actually did interview to be like a PA or like
I
a
remember
location
that.
scout for that show.
They, like, wanted you to drive a truck
Yeah,
around.
they didn't.
I
They
so
wanted
see
me
that
to
for you,
drive.
and
They're
I'm
like,
not
"Are you
kidding."
comfortable like lifting heavy things and driving a white van around the city at like odd hours of the night and day and morning?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, for sure." I did not get that job.
But, like, Politician season 1, exactly what, like, the good camp, by season 3. Ryan Murphy
starts to-
indulged yourself a bit too
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
Well, I think also Shonda, like, she doesn't... It's interesting that she's never done camp, because most of her shows, it's so high drama. Like, but she never she hasn't... I don't think she really...
Not really,
there's
no.
nothing else I can think of where
Yeah.
she steps into that, but it seems like a very natural progression when you're already, like, doing insane shows about how the president has had a years-long affair. Like...
It's true.
So someone had like quote tweeted this in relation to Severance, but it was a tweet using a video from Mad Men, and it says like, quote unquote, prestige TV dug its own grave because so many writers forgot the number one rule, which is that the best dramas are actually quite funny. And I think I was like, damn, yeah. Because it was quote tweeted with a clip, like a compilation of quotes from Severance. And, like, Severance makes me laugh
Yes.
out loud
Agreed.
sometimes.
It does, yeah.
And I don't even, like, it's always really short things that
Yeah.
make me laugh. It's
Yeah.
never, like, indulgent with the writing, I feel
Yeah.
like. It's always very, like, one of the things, it was, like, when Helly calls Mark a bootlicker. It's, like, always, like, really, like, short, punchy things.
Yeah.
And you're, like, you never forget that you're watching a drama when you watch Severance, because you're, like, tense as fuck. But I guess that was such a, like, interesting point to me, and I think, like, we've talked before about the element of surprise.
Yeah.
But, like, in, I think, drama writing, being funny is kind of the element of surprise, where
Yes.
you're like, oh, and it, like, keeps you more engaged, because our attention spans are, like,
Totally.
2 seconds.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, it's just, and I think it's also, like, Severance does such a good job of, like, speaking in the world in which it is. We've talked about how Beer and a Bistro
Yeah.
in the past, but, like, I don't know, just they are so good with their words in that show, and just, like, I think the things that they say to each other in an office setting are so real, like the way you make fun of each other, or like,
Yeah.
I don't know, it's just so
Like, the one coworker has like really like specific quirks
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And,
Yeah.
like, you're all like, oh,
this fucking guy. Yeah. But that's just something I'm kind of thinking about with the books, where I'm like, these are going to probably be, we hope, funny books, but, like, romances are dramatic, and I think we talk a lot about how, like, a lot of these romances we read, like, aren't funny.
Yeah.
And God, I just want ours to be funny.
Totally.
And they just don't see how they won't.
Gotta
No,
be.
they will,
Yeah.
for sure.
But, like, that's something I just want to keep in
It's
mind.
just natural to you.
Yeah.
You know? Like, when
I hope so.
You have the humor. Just
Yeah.
like, you're like, oh, okay, that's a funny thing to say.
When you have the humor.
when you possess the qualities of humor. It comes to you natural.
Well, I can't riff off the dome like you can with that. I can't write songs.
I can't pull an accent out like that.
Actually, I can.
Yeah, you don't sell yourself short.
You absolutely can.
Well, I am not a songwriter.
We all
is all I'm
can.
trying
We
to
all
say.
Because we've also talked about how lyrics have no place in books.
True. Yeah, that's true.
That's ridiculous.
You know, I think I could write a book about a songwriter and do very well for myself. Are you
Erin
kidding
would
me?
do.
It's just in my natural ability.
Yeah, and this protagonist just goes triple platinum with a hit titled Hot Weather.
I will find a way to put that Easter egg in something that I write.
I want that to be the jingle for this podcast. Hot weather.
Are you kidding me? We're gonna have to pay her so much money.
We'll never get the rights. Okay, so we brought Erin on today because of the fact that she is also a writer.
Yes.
Do you want to say a little bit about what you do?
I write screenplays.
Yes.
Say it with your chest.
I write
Yeah.
screenplays.
Say it like you believe it.
I write scripts and I write screenplays. I don't know if
Yes.
those are they're the same thing or they're different. I don't
You
know.
tell us.
You're the
alright.
expert.
Movies and TVs.
Yeah.
I write them,
Yep.
and you have never seen them.
But you will. You absolutely will.
And maybe it's worth saying the three of us
Yes, that
took
is.
a screenwriting class together in college.
yes,
Yeah.
we did.
And Erin was the breakaway star.
Yeah, she was the darling.
You guys were good too.
Shut.
No.
You don't. I literally know I was bad. I thought
Erin
you were both
was the breakout hit
Yeah.
of not just like our
The
class,
true,
but
yeah.
like all screenwriting sections across our college.
She was the
That's
best
an insane
screenwriter at
statement.
Fordham
That's an
University.
insane statement to make. That is crazy.
all of the
Cuckoo
professors were
Town.
like, "This girl is gonna be a
all
star."
the professors, 2 professors.
You only took 2 professors, right? Though for screenwriting?
Yes.
That's a 100%
Yeah.
success rate.
Yep.
So, okay, sorry.
But wait, I would like to say I was still a math major when I took the screenwriting. It was actually, I think it was like pilot writing was like, or sitcom writing was
Yeah.
the class, and I just took it for shits and gigs. And then I was like, oh, I really like that.
Oh shit! I found my passion.
Oh, no.
Damn it! Ugh.
Yep.
3 years of
Math.
actually not even numbers, letters and like
Proofs.
theorems and shit like that.
But yeah, we were in a screenwriting class together. Erin was the breakaway star. I was always exhausted in the class and the hungriest I've ever been because I was always coming from my internship. I would work a full day at my internship and then I would meet them at, it was the Manhattan
Lincoln
campus.
Center,
yeah.
yeah.
And I would meet them there and I wouldn't eat lunch at my internship because of my crippling anxiety. Just like couldn't eat
God
lunch for
forbid
some
they
reason.
think you eat.
God forbid they, what a flaw. Don't ever let them see what is
Chew.
it? Never let them see you chew. I was really afraid to eat lunch, so I'd always come to the class starving, and I would just sit there like.
Her stomach would be grumbling.
So that's why I was bad at it. I was so hungry.
We'd be listening to like war trauma scripts, and like all I could hear is Claire's stomach grumbling.
That's the other thing. Our classmates in this section were like,
There was multiple
Freaks.
scripts about like PTSD, war
everyone was writing
veterans,
veteran stories.
like insane,
Yeah.
intense, like
multiple.
Yeah. But we would also have like, we would take notes on our computers in like a common Google Doc between the three of us.
Yeah.
And Sage would just be typing and they're like, want to get chicken tenders when class is done.
I'm so excited to have
Like,
dinner.
it like got progressively more like I need to get
Yeah.
chicken
And
tenders
there's
or
even a picture
I
of
will
one.
kill myself before we get on this red
Yeah.
van.
And yeah,
Like,
so it'd always
okay.
be like we would take the van from Manhattan campus to
The Bronx.
the Bronx, but there was a slim window in between when class ended, and we had to get on the van, and I would try to run and get chicken tenders before the van.
Out of that van.
I was like, see ya.
Bolted.
Save me a
That's
seat on the
probably
van.
why we don't remember your script.
Yes,
you
I
were
literally-
never fully
I think
invested.
part of the issue is that I was so hungry.
Yes. We would stay after and talk to Jim.
Yeah, and I was like,
and
I
you were like,
need
I'm
protein.
gone. Bye.
That was your launch pad, and then
Yeah.
you now have made yourself a professional screenwriter.
Yeah, I use that word loosely because I have yet
We're gonna cut
to...
this when she doubts herself.
No,
Yeah.
oh my god, are you kidding me?
Yeah, we're
You
gonna
guys
cut
are
it.
bitches. You're bitches, each and every one of you. Get me out of here.
No one writes like her. Don't you feel the stakes?
I'm getting that this character lives in maybe the 1800s.
They're trying to kill me. My truth will be told. Okay, I'll stop.
Sometimes with Erin's bits, you just kind of have to wait.
Go forever. I can't stop. Once I start, it's like a ball
No, I
rolling
know.
down a hill.
You have to exercise it.
Honestly, it's getting better and better as I go.
Yeah, I know.
Because you're finding the character.
into the character.
Yeah, no,
I'm figuring out their fears, their wants, their wishes, their needs, their dislikes, their likes, their favorite color.
When Erin and I
The
lived
trauma.
together post grad, we would just like be sitting on the couch, and it'd be like 3 hours of
Just bits.
Well, I do.
I do declare.
And if you ever come over for tea wearing that again,
Those gloves? Are you kidding me?
3 hours. Of
Never
this.
those gloves.
Just the two of us in our living
You
room.
two really
I
can.
think also one of our
riff.
favorites was the John. Oh, Johnny, we can't talk about Johnny.
Oh
He
my-
is a
And you know I
mess.
love my boy.
I know you love your boy.
I love my
I know
boy.
you love your
I
boy.
would do anything for
And
my
he's
boy.
an angel. He's an angel. But sometimes
He's got a good heart.
so-
though.
he does a good heart, a really good heart.
And
He
then I'm
does.
just going,
Okay, so Erin is on the pod today to bring the perspective of a professional screenwriter. We're thinking about kind of examining the intersection between screenwriting and novel writing, and we've got some questions for you.
I'm really excited to see what my brain comes up with.
you
right
and me
now.
both. Hopefully another hit single.
I hope it's I hope it's insightful. It's probably not gonna
It's
be.
gonna be, I'm
It's
sure.
gonna be.
This is a two-part question. One, we've talked about how you make, like, how you build your characters.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd love to hear more about how you build, like, your characters, like, what you do to create them.
Yeah.
Besides talking as them.
Right, besides letting their spirit inhabit
Occupy your carnal shell.
Maybe that is something we need to try. But also, like, maybe take us through the process of, like, coming up with your idea and bringing it to life.
Oh my
It's a big question,
God.
so...
It is so big.
Yeah.
Because I also think I've changed
Okay.
all the time. Because like it really is like writing is. I would love to be paid for it, but it is like just like a passion. I just
Yeah.
like stories, and I like to like it's fun for me.
Yeah.
So like there's definitely times where I'm like I'm getting too carried away with the I know too much about the characters.
I know them too well.
don't need to know all of this. Like I've gone through like trial runs of doing different things where I was like figuring out like their Myers-Briggs or like
Really?
finding out their like different what's the number one
Oh, there you
the
go.
Enneagram. Like I tested with that, but I think
That's so interesting.
That is.
Do you take the test as them?
yes, like
Whoa,
as
I
them.
love that.
And
I'm
it does
obsessed.
like I do like the Enneagram one because I feel like it's a little bit more like broader. And
Yeah.
it kind of just gives you a little bit of a hint of like how
Yeah.
this character might be.
Okay.
But I try not to like pigeonhole myself now that too much.
Okay.
But it also depends on like what I'm writing.
Yeah.
Like if there's a lot of characters, I kind of want to make sure that they each are you can tell that they're
They each have a
different.
life.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And do you start with, like, you have an idea of who the character is, and then...
Yeah, I do find that I'm always like the main female. It's always a woman.
Yeah.
And she's always pretty similar to like who I am.
Yeah.
At the core.
Yeah. Do you usually start with, like, the idea, or, like...
Sometimes I get into a niche and I'm like, oh, I want to write a story about that in
Yeah.
history. And like there's other things in history. Like if I'm doing something in history, it's like I usually like I'm like really in the whole of like researching that, and then I'm like, ooh, that would be a good thing to like add to this person. So then it becomes like a mesh of like people in history into like one person.
Are you building out like the characters you want and then like context, like the world around them?
Yeah.
Before you're getting into like plot points, or
I think I have like an idea of what I want the story to be, but then it changes over time according to, like, the characters I created. Like, if I'm writing a rom-com, the two main love interests, I'm gonna know, like, who they are as people and, like, what their conflict is gonna be between them. But then it's, you kind of, like, as you're going, you air it out as, like, specific details about this person. Like, you know, they're gonna have, like, some sort of thing in their past that's, like, causing them not to be able to, like, get over this, and then you're like, what is that gonna be? That comes with time, with thinking about it, and, like, where it's taking place, who this person is, what their career is, like, what their family life is like, and how that works into, like, the plot of what I want to write.
And do you feel like you have to have all of those things figured out? That's something I think I am struggling with. Like, do you feel like you have to have all those things, know all of those things about them before you start writing?
No, and I think it's so different with everybody.
Yeah.
That it's like, that could help for some people.
Yeah.
But I do feel like a lot of times I'll be writing something and be like, I don't like that.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, ooh, I want to add that.
Yeah.
And then I kind of have to change things up.
Okay.
So, like, it's not set in stone. Nothing is set in stone.
Okay. Do you feel like you have to understand what their
I think
conflict
you
is going
have
to
to
be?
understand, like, kind of what's the message.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
The theme.
The theme.
Yeah.
And, like,
The theme stated.
what is, at the end, what you want your character to have learned.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
And have lost.
Okay.
Like, that kind of is... Because that's, like, you know...
That's the whole thing.
That's the principle of
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
How they get there can change.
Okay.
Yep.
I like that.
I like that a lot.
I feel like I'm figuring out my theme a little bit. We've talked about that.
Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know generally what it is.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, I think something we've talked a lot about, like, is how difficult writing dialogue is and,
Yeah.
like, making it sound like people, like, real people.
And it's like
Any tips?
screenwriter. Yeah.
Because it's all dialogue.
Because it's all
Yeah,
dialogue.
pretty much.
Like, when you're out in the world, you hear people talk.
Yeah.
You know, you live in the city. There's all different walks of life.
Yeah.
You meet different walks of life. You work with different walks of life. So you know, like, how certain archetypes are going to kind of talk.
Yeah.
And it does come naturally. I do sometimes, like, with my dialogue, I'm like, this sounds too much like... Everybody kind of sounds the same because I'm, like, writing from my voice a little bit too much. And, like, I need to make some characters respond differently. Like, I'm like, this is not me reacting. This is not me speaking.
Yeah.
This is another person.
Right.
So I have to kind of, like, check myself in that way. But, yeah, I think it's just, like, listening to other conversations.
Well, maybe try listening for once.
Eavesdropping.
Yeah, that is something-
in
no,
on other.
totally.
Yeah.
You just go to a restaurant, a bar by yourself, and just kind of listen to other people talking.
That's a good
Yeah.
idea.
And it
Yeah.
gets some inspiration in, like, who that person is. Maybe
Yeah.
stalk somebody, maybe. And
Commit a crime.
you walk in Central
Stalker
Park,
lover.
you find a woman who fits your main character, and you say, I'm going to stalk her. You guys are charismatic, you're witty. Like, you know, like, not to write like a robot. Like, a lot of my issues especially with teenagers in modern day television, I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Wait, where?
You're
How?
13. Why
When?
aren't you smoking weed?
Yes, exactly. Either they're, like, saying too many, like, hip words.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no kid is saying, like, on fleek. That's on fleek.
Yeah.
Or they're too smart. I'm like, me as a teenager, I was barely getting out any syllables.
Yeah.
I was like, that is good.
I learned a teen slang the other day.
Ooh,
that
what?
Ed means stupid.
Back in my day, ED meant eating disorder.
Which EDs are so bad.
EDs are... they've never left,
try not
babe.
eating
I don't know
lunch.
who told you they left. They've never left.
Never let
They've
them
just...
see you chew.
never let them see you chew. Literally. It's just gone from Tumblr to TikTok.
Yeah, they are back.
They will
And
haunt
it's
me.
jumped the gender gap.
I also don't like...
Yeah.
I also
I
want to
know.
just say, I don't like that men are trying to take ED and to make it erectile dysfunction. It's eating disorder, okay? We're not
Those are the two
rebranding ED. ED means eating disorder, not erectile dysfunction. Say it
You have
proudly.
to, you should
Erectile
You say it with
dysfunction.
your
erectile
chest.
dysfunction.
Is it like the
Say it.
Hims commercial or whatever? It's popping up all the time. And it's like men's eating. I'm like, it's erectile dysfunction. They were really concerned about men's eating disorders, and then I
Hims
was
is
like,
getting into eating disorders.
yeah, I'm like, oh, this is great. I mean, men do have eating disorders, and I think it's not talked about. A lot
Right,
of those
we-
gym
we
bros
should bring
have
awareness.
eating disorders. Okay,
No, right. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying.
eating
It's-
plain chicken and rice every day.
Yeah.
That's an eating disorder, babe.
These young men with the shred culture
The
is
shred
eating
culture is
disorder.
insane.
Disordered eating.
But I was like, okay,
Aren't we supposed to say
great.
disordered eating now though instead of eating disorder?
What is the difference?
I think it's like eating disorder. I don't. It's kind of like how you're supposed to say like unhoused people instead of like homeless.
Like the eating is disordered, not me.
I don't want to get
Right.
canceled, but I don't see the difference. So I'm going to keep calling it what it was and what it has been. It's haunted me all my fucking teenage life, all my childhood as well. Eating disorder. Eating disorder.
It might be DE now.
Okay.
I don't know.
It's
It's so close to DEI.
My
Oh, we're
Edie,
fucked.
my Edie Tumblr it haunts me.
Yesterday, Erin said to me that she's, I don't want to be pessimistic, but I'm worried that you're not going to write a book in a year. And I just want to double click on that. How long does it usually take you to write? At least something that you feel like a rough draft of. But I
Okay.
also think
It's different.
Different, yeah.
It's different. I mean,
Yeah.
if I'm writing like if I'm writing a pilot
yeah.
or a TV show, that's way quicker.
You might not have been paying attention in class.
A
You
pilot
might have been so
is
hungry.
the
You might have been
first-
passed out.
It's the first episode. It's the first episode
Yeah.
of the
Yeah,
TV
yeah.
show, of the series. Yeah. Am I writing a comedy? Am I writing a dramedy?
A 45-minute
a-
prestige.
An
drama.
hour drama?
An hour drama.
It's different. And also like if I'm writing with someone, that's way quicker because
Oh,
like
really?
there's a schedule that like we're meeting up to write.
Yeah,
kinda
and
like-
like
This podcast.
Kind of like making a
kind of
podcast
like
about
the
it.
podcast, but you're not writing together but you
Well,
do
maybe
have
we should,
deadlines.
though. Yeah,
you do
we
have
have-
deadlines. I do.
You're gonna look in Jeeps's eyes and tell her you don't have your pages done?
Yeah, I'm so scared.
Yeah,
Same.
that is.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
Maybe you should be helping me with some of my scripts. Sometimes I need a fire under my ass, but it's like more high stakes because you're like writing with someone else. So,
Yeah,
like,
you don't
they're
wanna disappoint.
relying on you to like put in the work and stuff when you meet next time.
Yeah.
So it's much faster. Like I think a lot of the scripts that I've written with my cousin has been like 2 months, 3 months maybe to get the full thing
Okay.
done and
For one
and
episode?
dusted. No, for movies.
Oh,
These are
okay.
only movies. But like by myself,
Yeah.
some things have been like over a year.
Yeah.
The movie that I just wrote probably was like a 2 year like passion project that I finally was like I just have to finish it even
Yeah.
if it sucks.
Okay.
Which I think is like you
It's
get to a
getting-
point where it's like you just have to finish it
Yeah.
even if you hate it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it maybe not even go back and read it because like it'll make you like spiral
Crazy.
about it. You just have to be like at this point what I've written is what I've written. I'll go back and fix that later.
Yeah.
I just have to finish it.
I might even, I don't know, I haven't really, I keep telling myself I'll write in April. Because the first deadline is the end of April. And I'm
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
like, once we turn the page on March, I'm ready to go. Okay.
Right.
Jupes has her eyebrows raised. But I think maybe one thing I might have to do is say, like, I won't do rewrite.
You don't even have to go back and rewrite things. Maybe just go back and put like an asterisk.
Yeah,
and be
like, I
I
wanna
will
change
revisit
this.
this.
Yeah.
Or like sometimes I'll have a scene and I'm like, I know what I need this to be, but I
Yeah.
don't know how I want it to go, so I
Yeah.
will just skip it and go to the next scene. Like sometimes I go in and I write the big scenes first, and then I go in and I fill like
That is
the
a-
like little bits that are kind of more like fillers
Fluffy.
to get you to those big moments.
That's
Yeah.
intriguing.
Yeah, that
I
is
like that.
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, we have outlines, but I feel like they're very, like, I don't have the small little scenes, you know, I just have,
Right.
like, I know what needs to happen here.
Yeah.
I know she needs to
And sometimes that helps
hit rock bottom here,
Yeah.
like, whatever.
to
Yeah.
write those big scenes
Yeah.
first. Sometimes it's like it's not like I don't have the full thing, but like I know I want to write this one scene.
Yeah.
You have that, too, I feel like.
And so then you I go in and I write that one scene, and like sometimes I'm like, that's all I really wanted to write. I just wanted to write that. That was just a fantasy in my head that I needed to get out. And sometimes I'm like, okay, like, here we go. And this actually, like, the end scene, I can, like, somehow tie into the first scene where it's like there's like a parallel going on there, and like it helps you like work in
that makes sense.
little like Easter eggs here and there.
I think that's also like that is testament to the burden of work you put on the prep, like before you when you're getting to know your character, getting to know, like, you're only able to like skip around your timeline like that because you like know your character down, know your like theme down. I right now feel like I need to like write linearly, only because I kind of have to write my way into some of that stuff. Maybe
right. And sometimes that is like you like get into in a role where you're like, you finish one scene and you're like, oh, now I know what now I know how the next scene, what I want it to be. Once you like get invested in the world, it's like easier to write because you're like in the world.
Yeah, you start to, I like the idea of like the world becoming more clear to you. Like, it's not really like you are the one in control, but it's kind of revealing itself to you. Yeah.
How do you kind of like future proof what you write where there's like more to exploit from your characters or your world if you need to?
When I'm writing movies, I'm not really thinking about that.
It's just,
and I think that's why I like movies, because it's like I have an end, I have a beginning, I have an end, and I'm just getting there, and that's it. That's where I kind of spiral with like, well, not with like comedies when I'm writing comedies, because it's like that's more like low stakes stuff where you can really come up with like a lot of easily problems. Like but I do have like a murder mystery type pilot that have finished, but like that one's a little bit more daunting to me because it's like so high stakes of like, okay, like when are you actually going to reveal when this like thing happens in the first, or do you want to reveal it in the first season, because that will change everything you put in the first episode, like all the information that you're putting in the first episode, if you're going to eventually have this mystery solved by the first season, or if you want to drag it out to the second season. But so that's like I don't think you can think too much about that.
That makes sense
when you're writing, because unless you're like Dan Fogelman, where you like know for certain that like this show is gonna get made and like it's gonna have a season 2, and like you can like plot it out for like seasons and seasons.
It kind of like sheds a new light on a conversation we've had about how like sometimes these big mystery shows like Yellow Jackets, you're like, why doesn't it feel like the writers know what's gonna happen? And it's like, well, because they probably were just trying to get one pilot produced, then they got it, and it's like, oh fuck, I have to figure out the rest of the story. So like, I think maybe we don't give enough credit to that that problem. But I think that's interesting. I it's nice to not really, I don't feel the same pressure with a book, I feel like, of like, oh, what if, because I'm like, I just hope one gets, you know, maybe one day, like,
I guess the like small way I feel it is like we're pinning ourselves to certain things like on this podcast, to, like,
true,
actually land the plane, which Erin doesn't think we're gonna do.
I didn't
say
she
that. Thinks we'll do it, just maybe the time is
1 year is like super ambitious, but I think you guys can do it. I just think you have to be.
No, like, have you ever used ChatGPT?
Don't you dare.
We will not touch AI.
Don't you dare talk about
It'll say
AI.
that with my full chest. One thing I keep I keep falling back on is like books have editors.
So true.
And like even your friends will be editor. Like books also have early readers. Like the changes don't all have to like. I mean, the changes ultimately have to come from me, but like there will be other inputs.
Other eyes
I'm not completely alone in this. And like books don't. Again, I don't want it to seem like I think this book is absolutely gonna like whatever. But like if a book were to go to print, it goes through so many rounds of edits. So like not everything has to be just has to be good
like,
enough.
You don't want to get too attached.
Yeah,
right?
true.
There are things that they're gonna be like, no, get rid of that.
Yeah,
and you're like, oh,
totally. You have to kill your darlings.
Necessary. Yeah. So it changes too. Like there's countless times where like the scripts will have to rewrite a scene or cut a scene. Like there's so like the first script that you write is
It's gonna be
not
garbage.
gonna be
Yeah.
the script that it gets made. Like there's
Yeah.
so many cuts that have to be made. You have to change things and switch things down to make it shorter. So like you can't be too married,
Yeah.
too in love with what you've written, because it's gonna change, and that also like takes the pressure off of it. Where
Yeah,
it's
that's
like,
what I'm feeling.
this
like.
is so lackadaisical. 'Cause,
Yeah.
like it could change.
Yeah.
Like this is not set in concrete. It's not set in stone. Like
Yeah.
That helps. Do you have any other like best practices for like how to work with other people when it's like a precious and creative product? Like I don't know.
Yeah, like how do you deal with like if someone else wants to change something and you're like, I don't know.
well, if they're like in charge, you're like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay,
Well, sure,
I'll do
but,
it.
like-
I'll do it. Like I'm on the bottom of the totem pole, so
Yeah.
like I'm like, I don't want to, but I will. I
Yeah.
will change it because yes, mommy, yes, daddy, I will.
But like when you're working with your cousin, like how do you guys work that out?
We'll like do like sessions of
Yeah.
like we'll work for like 2 hours, an hour together. We'll be like writing together. Like you work on this scene and I'll work on this scene, and then we can like leave it and be like, okay, well like we'll have like a doc that we share, and then if you feel so compelled to write a scene, like we'll know the scene,
Yeah.
what the scene is
Okay.
for the most part. Like what do you call those, log lines? Or
Yeah.
I should know the word for it, but like it's just like a short description of what's happening in
Yeah.
a beat sheet, you know, it's like a beat.
Oh, we know
Oh,
the
we
beat
know
sheet.
beat sheet.
Yeah,
we know about
the
saving
beat
the
sheets,
cat.
but it's not like so specific to that. It's just more like this scene. This is what happened. This is what's
Yeah.
going to happen in the scene. Like they go to the mall and they talk about this, and then like if you feel so compelled, you can like work on the scene and stuff, and then we meet back up again and we say, oh, I worked on this scene. I worked on this scene, and then you know you can reread someone's scene and be like, oh, I made some edits to this scene.
Yeah.
And stuff. It's just very
Sounds like you just have to have a good relationship.
Yeah.
Trust
flow.
each other.
And obviously you have to have a similar humor,
Yeah.
similar like cadence, a similar idea of where you're going,
Yeah.
and just be similar in that way.
This was very helpful and insightful. Thank you.
Seriously.
Sometimes I have to be like, this is my passion.
Yeah.
Like
lucky.
I have to separate it from, this is not like a gun to my head, you have to do this.
Yeah.
Like
Except for you two do.
Yes,
you
thank
two
you.
do, but like in a different way.
Yeah.
Like it's like it. Also, you have to be like really real with yourself and be like, this might not get published. This might not
get
This might not ever see the light of day. You're just doing this
She
for
goes
fun.
southern to deliver really
You're
hard
just
truths.
doing this to like
Come
because
here
you
and sit
have
on
this
my porch.
idea and you want to do it and you want to put this out there. But
Right.
it might do nothing, you know.
Yeah.
And like it takes the
And that's
stress off
okay.
of it, and
Yeah.
that's okay, and that is
Yeah.
okay. And like because I can stress out and be like, oh my god, what am I doing? This is the worst. And I have to just be like, this is just chill. Like if
I'm
no
my
one
boss.
sees this, it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like you can delete this if you want
Yeah.
to, like later on. But yeah, I think having like maybe incentives where it's like
Mine's
I can have
doing
I
capitalism.
can go out and get coffee if I finish the
Yeah,
scene.
yeah,
or
yeah.
I
just
can
for
watch.
sure talking about like buying a couch. Yeah.
Like I can buy one pillow.
Yeah.
Because
Just
the
one?
couch seems like
The couch is big.
The couch might be the book when you finish the book. You can buy
no,
the couch.
come on. I need a new couch. You saw the swatches.
No, come on, let me buy a couch.
Please, Erin, please.
No, you
Help.
cannot buy a couch. But like sometimes, and this sounds like ED, but like
Which one?
But
you need
it's
erectile
like-
dysfunction.
It's like I'll have a routine of writing because I am lucky to be a server, so I can write during the day and I work in the night. So like it'll be, I have a routine of like I'll write this scene and then I can have lunch.
Yeah.
You know, then I can eat.
Never
Then I
let
can
them
get
see you
direction.
chew.
Yeah, like I can't eat before I finish these. Never let them see you chew. Never stop writing.
Never let your characters see
Yeah,
you chew.
never let your character see you chew. Do not snack during the scene.
You'll get another boner someday.
Never let them see you hard. Yeah. So
That
it's
should be the
like
slogan for
timeline. Never let them see you
Never
hard.
let them see you soft.
Never let them see you soft.
I'm sorry, okay.
Hymns.
Never let them see
Never let them see you soft. But also, like, making it, like, romanticizing the process of writing.
That's right up
Getting
our
a
alley.
coffee to write, to drink, sip while you write. I don't really like going to coffee shops too much. It's, like, too many distractions for it. But it also is good, like, if you need, like, a little bit, because you can eavesdrop. And
True,
you
you
can
need
get,
a
like, a
little
little bit of inspo. You want to look like you're doing something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And you're writing something super important. And they don't know.
I wish we
could
could have an
be-
English teacher. That's Jupes. Jupes is the closest thing we have to, like, I need, like,
English.
someone to be like, your papers due.
Hand in your papers. Yeah.
And I'm gonna give you a grade on it.
Hand in your papers. Like,
Don't
like
wanna fail, dude.
Jupes
Yeah.
is, well, that is Jupes. She's your
I know,
editor.
literally, that's what I mean.
Think of
She's like
yourself, okay, Real Housewives of New York.
Yeah.
You will.
I watched Early Roni, so.
But Carol, when she's
know
like
Carol.
writing her book, and like she's talking to her editor, and it's like, you have to get your papers in, like act like you are this like
Student.
like delusional. Be delusional,
Right,
yeah.
Not student. You're no, you are a published writer.
We're selling books, and
you're
we
getting
got a
your
deadline from
writers
our
in.
publisher.
Like, be a little delusional, and like it goes with like the whole just like who gives up. Like,
Yeah,
whatever
this
you're
literally
writing,
is
you're
all
the
made
best
up
writer
anyway.
ever. You have to be delusional. Everybody who had a dream was delusional.
Oh my God,
So, thinking of this when I was driving down the train, and you guys live in the city, so you could do this more, but like, I find it so inspiring when you're like driving on the train and you're looking out the window and you see like all the different types of like landscapes and homes and things.
Train travel is so romantic.
Okay, like what would a person who's living in this town
Right.
do? Like,
Get out
what
of
are
yourself.
what are their big
Power of imagination.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
it's like a good way to like kind of
Yeah.
like break your brain down and be like, I have to write a character about someone who lives here,
Ooh,
goes
I
to
love
this
this
grocery
idea.
store, like what are they dealing with?
Yeah.
What's their goals in life? Like, what does their life look like?
Yeah.
That's a good exercise. Let's do train challenge next week. Inspired
Jupes
by
is like,
Erin
please
Woods.
write your book.
We have to keep advancing the craft as well.
Yeah.
We've talked a little bit about like how it's different, like, and much less like they have much less control over the actual like output. But like once you hand over your writing to a reader, that's theirs now.
Yeah.
Like you don't get to control their perception of
Right,
your characters and like. I mean, you have been, like, you're all over, like, different fanfic or, like, fan page stuff, like, right? Like, once it becomes a community's, like, they can make it so many other things.
Yeah, and you're like, I wasn't
And you
even
get
thinking
no-
about that.
What?
You'd be like, I wasn't even thinking about
Right.
that.
But, like, we don't get to control
like, good
it
call.
anymore.
Yeah. Wow, I guess I'm smarter than I thought I was.
Yeah.
I could have majored in math.
Yeah, and there's always going to be people who don't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, like,
Haters.
that's why I'm always, like, I'm so hard on certain authors on this podcast, but I'm like, I welcome the same criticism.
Yeah.
Tell me what's bad.
And I'll say,
Yeah.
fuck you.
Yeah, I'll definitely be like, well,
You're wrong.
If you're going to make something and put it in the world, you have to be.
That's the contract.
That's art. That's
Yeah.
literally
Yeah, that's
art.
art. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
So I guess that brings us to the last question of all.
Yeah.
For all three of us. What's the most romantic thing that happened to you this week?
I'm
See
going
what
to kick
you
us
got.
off.
Yeah.
We already kind of talked about this, and it's not my best one, I would say. I think I usually come with a good... I think I do a good job at this exercise, generally. And it's also borrowing a little bit from Callie's, our last guest, that, like, I think it's just romantic to me how many people, like, came from different places for the birthday party this weekend. Erin being one of them, coming all the way from Worcester. Our friend Amanda from high school, astronaut, who was in the audience, and her boyfriend Alex came from LA. Like, oh my god. Which is literally, this is exactly what Callie's was. But, like, it's just so nice that people would come for our stupid conclave birthday party and would wear insane costumes and, like, really commit to the bit. And, like, that's just it for me, is a sign of such a friendship, is that you would come to my theater kid birthday party.
Don't start crying again.
No,
I was
seriously,
crying
that she's
last
getting
night.
through this without sobbing.
And last night I was crying about our friendship.
Getting
and,
on the
like,
spiral.
because I was like,
beautiful.
Erin was so cool when I met her, and I was such a loser.
Stop it.
We had very different teenage years, and the fact that we were, like, our friends is, like, awesome to me.
My teenagers were traumatizing.
It makes so much sense that you guys are friends.
I know. And I don't mean, I'm not trying to be like, oh, Mio. But, like, I don't know, it's just I'm glad that our lives intersected when they did, all of us. And it's nice now that, like, all of your friends from high school and my friends from high school and friends from college, all of them being together, so nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They mesh well.
Yeah, and everyone gets along so well and, like, is funny.
Yeah,
Totally. Well, yeah, that's a really good romantic one. And
I stole Callie's.
Well, and you stole mine, and it's of course it's the most romantic thing.
Yeah, that's
But I've
okay.
got
We can
something
share
else,
it.
too.
Okay.
You have to go last because the guest goes last.
Okay.
You're the
I don't really even know yet.
big finisher.
Okay.
All right, listen. I know I'm pretty dog pilled right now. Like my whole life is puppy, but I think it's so romantic. How many? We're in the middle of March Madness too, I should say, which I love college basketball, and I think it's romantic.
I'm number 1 in my bracket right now. I won last year too.
Really?
Yep.
What the fuck?
I'm really good at this. I don't know why.
Okay, yeah, my romantic though is how many college mascots are dogs. I think it's so romantic that
Oh my God.
humans so love dogs.
yeah,
and there's a division. I get that there are many animal mascots, but I'm not talking about animals chosen for their ferocity, like jungle cats and.
Yeah.
I'm talking about the humble dog, man's
Yeah.
best friend.
Yale Bulldog.
There are so
Yeah.
many. The Yale Bulldogs,
The first-
Ugga.
I wonder who the first college was that picked a dog, and then everyone said, "Oh, we're gonna have a field day with this
Everyone
one."
was
Do
like,
you
"Wait, we
know
can do
how
that?"
many dogs there are?
The
We
Wofford
are
Terrier.
set.
And the reason I know so many of the dog college basketball mascots is because when my family, my just immediate family, would do like a limited bracket, we would all just choose like our elite 8 when I was growing up, and we would always fill out one for the dog.
Oh.
The family dog, and he would only choose dog mascot teams.
Really love that.
I know a lot of them, but that's what I'm saying. It's romantic. It speaks to like our
humanity.
love for dogs and like how people rally around, and like you can have a real dog as your mascot, like Ugga showing up to the games.
Yeah.
I just really think it's like so dear.
I think that's a really good one. Thank you for
Thanks.
sharing that.
Yeah, and now here's the guest.
Gulp.
Gulp.
Gulp. The train thing is a romantic thing that was a really romantic thing, just seeing like different walks of life in different ways. But I think the most romantic thing that happened to me, can I say like that, is the other day I was driving in my new car and I was driving behind a school bus.
Oh, I
And
already love this.
It was like little kids, and a girl like waved at me through the window, and I waved back, and she was like, she got so excited that I waved back. She's like, guys, she waved back to all her friends, and then they started to wave, and they started to like give me like little hearts and stuff, and I was giving them hearts back, and then they turned, so I wasn't behind them anymore. But it was like the excitement of that, and like I remember being like the little kid on the
Yeah.
back of the bus, being like looking at the people driving behind you, and then it was like, wow, now I'm like the woman in the car. Like they probably think I'm so cool, or
Yeah.
maybe they were making fun of me. I don't know. I'll
They
never
wouldn't have thrown
know.
up the hearts if they.
Yeah, like I was like, they might be mocking me, but either way,
No
I'm just
way.
gonna give them a show and like be that cool girl, like in her cool green car, who's like looks cool and is pretty, and like they're like, oh my god, so cool, she's so mature, and da, 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 da. But yeah, I just thought that was really cute.
I love
You know?
that one.
Yeah.
Just
It's
because
also-
like it's the innocence of children, which
Yeah.
we need to hold on to that, and we need
Yeah.
to like keep them safe, because it's so scary out there now, like what they
No,
can
I
be
know.
exposed to, and it was just so warm.
I also like that because it's like one of those things you forget that you did as a kid.
Yeah.
And you remember it and you're like, oh my god, being a kid is so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's really sweet.
it was very sweet.
I love that.
Me too.
All right, people.
Let's go eat. Sorry, anything else?
Yeah, I just have one more gripe to. No, I'm kidding.